It was a quiet winter evening in London. The city lights cast a hazy glow over the snow-covered streets. Near King's Cross Station, the local Starbucks was just moments away from closing. Inside, only one employee, Clara, remained. She moved through the empty cafe like a phantom, her routine a familiar comfort, wiping down tables, shutting off the grinders, just waiting for the clock to strike midnight. With a sigh, she walked towards the entrance, keys in hand, ready to lock up and head home. But just as her fingers touched the lock, the small bell above the door chimed, cutting through the silence. A customer had just walked in. He was a silhouette against the snowy street, dressed in an oversized coat, a dark scarf pulled high, and old, cracked leather gloves. A wide-brimmed hat cast his face completely in shadow. When he spoke, his voice was a low, raspy whisper that seemed to absorb the warmth of the room. "One caramel macchiato, with my name on it." Clara managed a polite, if slightly strained, smile. The last thing she wanted was a late-night order, but it was her job. "Of course, name for the order?" she asked, grabbing a cup and a marker. The man was silent for a long moment, the quiet stretching uncomfortably. Then, he whispered again, "You'll know it." A shiver traced its way down Clara's spine. She forced a nervous laugh, brushing it off as a strange joke. She turned to the espresso machine to prepare his drink, but when she glanced back at the counter, he was gone. The chair he'd occupied was empty. The door hadn't opened. She hadn't heard a single footstep. Nothing. Confused, she scribbled unknown on the cup, placed it on the counter, and muttered to herself, "Weird guy." As she moved to finally shut down the espresso machine, her eyes caught something out of place. A steaming cup was already sitting there, one she hadn't made. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she picked it up. Written in a thick, aggressive black marker were the words, "Clara, your shift ends soon." She froze, her breath catching in her throat. She hadn't told him her name. She wasn't even wearing her namatag tonight. Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered violently. In the reflection of the dark window, she saw him, the same man, standing just outside, his shadowed face turned towards her. Watching, she screamed and scrambled for the door, fumbling with the lock. But when she finally wrenched it open and stared into the cold night, the street was empty. The only evidence he'd been there was a single set of footprints in the fresh snow, leading away from the door, and then just stopping halfway down the block. The next morning, the opening crew found the Starbucks locked securely from the inside. Everything was spotless, just as Clara would have left it, except for one chilling detail. On the counter sat a single cup of caramel macchiato, still mysteriously warm, a faint wisp of steam rising from it, and written on the side in black ink, "Clara, order ready." Clara was never seen again. They say that every year, on that same cold winter night, as midnight approaches, the store's main espresso machine whirs to life on its own, and a single, steaming caramel macchiato appears on the counter, with the name of the lone barista working the closing shift written neatly on the cup. At Starbucks, your name isn't just written on the cup. Sometimes, it's written on your fate. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy stories that linger in the shadows, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.